Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Insert the music here. Insert the music here. All right. Good evening and welcome to Merriwether's World, episode 99. Yeah, no grid hygiene. So tonight on Merriwether's World, we will be talking about how to keep yourself and your clothing clean when you have limited resources in your mind to do this sort of thing. So yeah, start things off. I am your host, Dr. Mark Merriwether Vorderbergen, creator of Foraging Texas website, author of Idiot's Guide Forager, PhD chemist, the medicine man for Medicine Man Plant Co., and doer of many, many, many things. So let me just throw some links up here to kind of help you figure out who I am, where I'm coming from. So first, Foraging Texas website. Let me just pop this up here again. So here is the center of everything, where you can find over 225 plants information with multiple pictures and all sorts of good stuff on there. Like we can look at bull nettle, and you can see, pictures, maps, North American maps, and how to use them, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So yeah, check it out. All right. So, like I said, tonight I will be talking about no grid hygiene. The topic came up back during the snowpocalypse. Back, when was that, January or February? A while ago already. It's summer now, so it's not really happening. But in that time, a lot of people found themselves stranded with very little in the way of cleaning supplies or ways of keeping themselves clean. Big problem was broken water pipes, and so they had no water, in the house. So to help you with that, remember, I have quite a few videos, emergency preparation videos, including water. So we put that up there. You can get there, over on the www.youtube.com/user/Dr. Merriwether page. And on there's a number of playlists. There's Merriwether's World, 4 seasons, but also the emergency preparedness videos. And there's quite a few videos on that, from short, easy ones to some pretty long type stuff. Okay, and since I'm doing that, well, I already put it up there, but I'll put it up one more time. So the YouTube channel, and also my book, Idiot's Guide Foraging. And I will say, if you buy it from this link, I get nothing. I don't get any royalties from this book. But what I am doing is, because I really don't like Amazon, I'm sending it over to a fellow foraging instructor, Sam Thayer, to buy it from his store and help him out. Okay, and one other thing, like I said, I am the herbalist/chemist for Medicine Man Plant Co. So you can check that out, the ancient plants for modern issues, www.medicinemanplantco.com. Cool, we got lots of people here. Hey, Maureen. Hey, Joe, Kiri, Wade, Dan, Gerardo. Cool. Okay, so let me throw one other sponsor up right at the beginning here. And of course, that will be Wazoo Survival, who I help. And okay, I will point out that the colors are much more vivid in real life. The camera has some color issues in regards to the green screen, so it looks kind of washed out, but it's actually very vibrant in color. But these are what I and Dr. Nicole Appelian, the 2-time contestant on the History Channel's Alone show, decided were the most valuable edible and medicinal plants in North America. It turns out that's also useful in Europe. So yeah, check that out. But big shout out to the Wazoo Survival, because they're the ones that pay for me to stream here. Okay, enough of that. Let us jump right into hygiene, because staying clean is important. There is a pretty good argument that the development of modern sanitary practices did as much for extending the lifespan of humans from, like 45 years to 75 years, as did things like antibiotics and vaccines and stuff like that. So hygiene plays a real big role in your health, especially in a grid down situation, because it may be more difficult to get emergency help. So what we're going to talk about first how to prioritize your body. What parts do you want to keep clean, and what parts can you kind of not keep clean, depending on what sort of cleaning stuff you have around. And part of that will then some improvised sanitizers, if you will, some things that you can, if there's nothing else available, you might still have these in your house, and you won't normally think of them as a source of cleaning, but in a pinch they will work. And then we'll go into some emergency sources of water, some things you should not use to clean yourself, and then some other cleaning tips, not just the body, but also your clothing. Okay, so let's jump right in and let's prioritize the human body, shall we? So the reason you are cleaning yourself, when it comes right down to it, is prevent the spread of germs, either from getting some sort of infected, like an infected wound, or accidentally consuming some sort of microbes that can then lead to a food poisoning situation. Because something like a E. coli infestation or salmonella or other sort of food poisoning or gut infection, leading to vomiting and diarrhea in a grid down situation where you have limited access, especially to clean water, could be fatal. So we don't want that. So how do you prevent this? Now, like I said, and it comes back to prioritizing the parts of your body that you're cleaning. So the goal of cleaning is to prevent bacteria, and to a lesser extent viruses, but mainly to prevent bacteria from getting into your body. So one of the things that's going to happen in a grid down situation is you're going to need to go to the bathroom. And so improper hygiene after a toilet, it's one of the biggest causes of that sort of food poisoning or otherwise taking in bad bacteria. So let's start there. The number one part of your body that you want to keep clean is your hands. You want to keep your hands clean because your hands are touching everything and, coming into contact with everything. You're rubbing your mouth, you're rubbing your eyes, and your mouth, your nose, your eyes are three of the primary ways that bad things can get into you. Also, you may have a cut or a damaged hands, especially in a grid down situation where you are working hard, your hands are getting kind of tore up. So that leaves another path for the bacteria or the infectious agents to get into you. So if you have limited water and limited soap and all this sort of thing, the thing you should focus on keeping clean above everything else is your hands. So do you understand? Because your hands are what are touching the rest of you and maybe cut, damaged. And so they're the most likely either way of transporting something, say from the toilet or, from the toilet area to food to inside your body. So hands, they are, if you can only clean one thing, your hands. And in particular, especially before eating. Now, like I said, later on tonight, we'll talk about some improvised antibiotic type stuff you can use to help keep your hands clean. But right now we're focusing on what parts of the body, in what order do you want to keep them clean? Okay, so first, hands. You all agree, hands are the most likely vector of things getting into your body. So wash your hands. Second, if you have, again, the resources, if you have the water and soap or something available, and I'll talk about some improvised cleaning solutions, But the next area is going to be your happy bits. So your groinal area. Yeah, this is not necessarily going to be a kid friendly, but yeah, let's just put it out there. You want to keep your genitals clean because they are another opening in your body that things can get into you through. And we talked about, transferring stuff via your mouth into your body, going in through your genitals. You can lead to a bladder infection or a kidney infection. So if you have enough cleaning access to wash both your hands, and one other thing, wash your hands, wash your groin and your genitals to keep them clean, to avoid passing infections into your bladder, into your kidney. Okay, so we got 2 down. Third, it gets a little more optional. But when it comes right down to it, after discussion with some people, we decided feet. And so let's talk about keeping your feet clean and why you want to keep your feet clean. Because if you are going for days wearing the same socks, the same shoes in a grid down situation, your feet are going to get skunky and mucky and nasty, and there's a good chance of fungal infection, especially if, like in a situation like this where your feet are getting wet and not really drying out. So foot fungus is another debilitating sort of issue. So hands, groin, then feet. Again, these are the priority that you want to be cleaning your body to kind of defunkify yourself to maintain your health in a grid down situation. So yeah, cleaning your feet. If you remember anything about World War I don't think anyone was there, but at least anyone watching tonight. But yeah, you want to keep your feet. Well, in World War I, in the trench, they used to get what was called trench foot because their feet were wet for weeks on end, days on end, cold, clammy, reduced circulation because they're wearing tight socks and tight boots and all this stuff, and the feet just start to rot. Similar thing happened in the early days of the Vietnam War, where the boots they had were not really designed jungle boots. And so their feet would get wet and stay wet and get monkey, gucky. Yeah, gross. So yeah, bust that funk, as John says. So you gotta defunkify your feet. So that'll be the third priority. Okay, fourth, similar to the feet, is the armpits. Once you got your feet clean, you still got some water, you still got some cleaning thing. That's when you go after your armpits. Get those nice and clean for pretty much the same reason as your feet. Now, there's not quite as big of a risk because usually, with your armpits, you can kind of air them out, dry them out better. Whereas the feet, if they're all, constantly in the boots for all day long, wet boots, your feet are getting wet all day long, they're going to get funky. Your armpits can, when you stop working, for a while, rest, you can take your shirt off, you can dry your armpits out, you're good. You can, easier wipe them down, use some, an unused bed sheet or something, but you can keep your pits dry. Okay. Next, let's say you still got some cleaning solution here. All right, your face, around your nose, around your eyes, around your mouth. Again, for the same reason you are cleaning your hands, is just to reduce the chance of any sort of thing that did get on your face getting into your mouth, getting through your nose, getting into your eyes. It's like the song, hands, finger, toes. I don't know the song, but yeah. So hands, groin, feet, armpits, face. Again, you're preventing bacteria in particular from getting into your body, because in a grid down situation, a food poisoning sort of thing, really, really, really bad. So, because if you end up with diarrhea or vomiting, you got problems. So again, after the other parts, face, and then finally, like the hair in the back of the neck and the overall rest of the body. At that point, we're talking you have plenty of water to use. So here's the thing though, of the priorities. So here, let me bring this up here, because I have a diagram. Share video screen to do, oops, application window. Isn't that cute? Okay. So the order of cleaning, well, the priority, the most important things to keep clean. So first, hands, second, groin, genitals, third, feet, fourth, armpits, fifth, face, sixth, like hair and rest of the body. Now, if you can do more than 3 of these, like if you can do 3 of these or more, save the genitals for last. So if you have enough cleaning supplies to do, 4 things, you would do hands, then feet, then armpits, and then genitals last. Or actually, really, now that I think about it, you would probably wash your hands after washing everything else. That makes sense because the last thing you want to do is transfer anything from here in the end to here. So yeah. Now people are mentioning baby wipes. Yes, have baby wipes, have dry shampoo, things like that. But this a lot of people found themselves without it. Then it didn't occur to them that they should have it. So if for some reason you find yourself in this situation again, like I said, the main goal of washing yourself is to prevent bad things from getting into your body. So you got to think, what are the ways things get into my body? My hands, rubbing my eyes, eating, transferring bad stuff onto my food that I'm eating. So hands are the number one thing you need to wash. And then the next thing, of course, like I said, the genitals, because there are direct paths to your bladder and kidneys, which can lead to infections there. So you got to keep those clean. Feet have a tendency to get funky and fungusy, mildewy if you don't keep them clean and dry. So you got to have those. And then armpits, slightly less, but you still feel good after cleaning the pits. The face, just again, to keep things from getting into you. And finally, the hair. All right, how do I, oops, that's why. Sorry, I'm having, okay. So that is the priorities of cleaning the things. And okay, yeah, Mark, actually, I include the butt with the genitals because they're so close, you really, may as well do them both at the same time. Okay, so now you know what you need to keep clean. But let's say you don't have any water. You have no water available. Well, you might have some water available. Let's think about some, like during the storm, the snow apocalypse in Texas, people were melting snow. They were, getting water wherever they could. But even then, they are running out of water. So let's think, where else in the house might you find water? Oh, wow. Interesting. Okay. We have a green screen issue here. Just a second here. Well, I should have picked a different one. So canned veggies. This is peas. This is kind of funny. Yeah. So canned vegetables, there's water in them. Do not use canned fruit. Do not use canned meat because canned fruit and canned meat, well, canned fruit has lots of sugar in it. Will just make you sticky and feed things. This is funny. Yeah. So, but I don't know if you can see it. Sweet peas. I didn't think this one through. Yep. Okay. And so yeah, there's going to be water up in your hot water tank. The tank behind your toilet, there's going to be water in there, at least until you flush. And of course, limit how often you flush the toilet. But some other things, beer and other low sugar alcohols. It's, kind of almost a sin to waste alcohol, but hey, if you got to clean, you got to clean. So, you may not want to be using pre-made margaritas loaded with sugar, but some vodka is better than nothing. Now, according to the FDA, you need things to be at least 70% alcohol to work as a hand sanitizer. So your 80 proof alcohol, technically that's only 40% alcohol. It may not be enough to kill the bacteria, but when you start including soap with it, then you're using it like water as a, water to wash it away. Another thing, contact lens solution. Those of you that have contact lens solution, you take your contacts out, you put them in the little case, And now hopefully you still have a bottle of sterile saline that you can use to wash your hands, to rinse them off at least. So there are different fluids you can use. So like the water from canned vegetables, beer, alcohol, that, things in low sugar, not from meat. The hot water tank, the back tank of the toilet, contact lens solution, those sort of things have water in them. You can use as a fluid to at least wash your hands. Okay. Certain things you don't want to use, because you're going to end up in a worse situation than if you had used them. Don't use gasoline. Do not use gasoline. Gasoline will dry the skin, will irritate the skin. Lots of contact with gasoline can be carcinogenic. So yeah, don't wash your hands with gasoline. Do not use vinegar, at least not the regular strength vinegar. The main issue there is it's really going to dry out your skin and cause it to crack and split. And so now you have all sorts of wounds on your hand that are all entry points for bacteria and other bad things. So another thing you don't want to use is ammonia. If you got a bottle of ammonia under the sink, don't use that, at least in its concentrated form, generally not in its dilute form either, because it is, again, going to dry out your skin, cause it to crack, split, be open, leave openings in for stuff, the bacteria to get in there. You don't want that. Another thing, scouring powders like Brasso and some of the other things you might have in your, under your sink and under your kitchen sink. The scouring powders, you don't want to use those, again, because they're going to dry and damage the skin. The skin, again, opening wounds up. Now, people are mentioning, the creek. Yeah, exterior sources of water. Rain barrels are great. Puddles, creeks, ponds, things like that. Any of the wild waters, especially if you have a way to boil it. And, so you got your pot and you got your little camp stove, and I could open this up, but I'm not. But there will be, links afterwards and the emergency stuff. If you've seen my emergency cooking and my emergency water, it's always good to have a non-grid way of boiling water, because you need that. Okay, we got a mom here. Spit. Yeah, to a limited point. And that actually comes into play in what I'm going to talk about next. What time is it? Okay, yeah. Okay, so we covered priorities and we covered improvised cleaning solutions. So let me just do a quick shout out to some more sponsors here. So let me put the links up. Boom. Okay, so arbortrue.com, they are another people that help keep me doing this show, which unfortunately this is the last one. So if you are looking for a tree doctor or need some pruning, if the storms really did kill some trees, you need to take them down and they're in risky spots, give Arbor True a call. And then, of course, Uncommon Bees. You gotta love Uncommon Bees. They have all sorts of apiary goods, from regular honey to, I think they're up somewhere around 75 different types of infused honey, with everything from the Sacred 7 mushrooms all the way to CBD and elderberry and echinacea and everything else. Ooh, here's a good one. Okay, we'll jump into here. Yes, Amanda, hydrogen peroxide. Actually, this isn't that great of one, because the bottle of hydrogen peroxide, just poured on your hands, it's going to dry them out. And once it's dried out, you're going to crack and you're going to open up wounds again. So with hydrogen peroxide, what you need to do is convert it to just plain water. The easiest way of doing that is you pour the hydrogen peroxide in a tall tumbler and then put in either a strip of aluminum or a silver spoon. And that will catalyze the breakdown of the hydrogen peroxide into pure water, which now can be used as a cleaning solution. Hey, Uncommon Bees is here. Cool. I got it right. Apiary Goods. I should point out, between now and 9:30 tonight, if you use the coupon Forking Weeds, you get 25% off. But otherwise, Forking Weeds gets you 10% off their stuff. Okay. So, where were we? I gotta look. Oh, okay. So now let's talk. If you have limited water, you have some water. Let's say you have 3 cans of peas you got in a pot. What can you add to it? Because if you're using soap, you need water to rinse the soap off. But there are other things that work as antibiotics. Let's see. Hopefully this will work. Okay. Yes. So oregano and the other herbs in Italian seasoning. In the oregano and the other herbs, there are different amounts of eugenol, which is a very potent antibiotic. So what you want to do is make a tea out of your Italian seasoning and whatever your water you have. So basically basically every cup of water, you want to add about half a teaspoon of oregano or Italian seasoning. Let it sit and warm for a while in the pot. You bring it up to a boil and then shut it down some, but you want it to, diffuse the eugenol out of the Italian seasoning, out of the oregano. If you have straight oregano, that's the best. But straight oregano tea, so Italian seasoning tea or oregano tea, you make that, you dip your bandana in it, and you rub this concentrated oregano Italian seasoning tea over your hands. It's not going to kill everything, but it's going to greatly reduce the bacteria because eugenol is a strong antibiotic. So you can use it also to flush out wounds. Other things you can do that with. It's just regular tea, like throwing it Lipton's tea, not any of the so much the herbal blend teas, but traditional tea. Traditional tea has tannic acid in it. So instead of putting 1 tea bag in a cup of water to get the amount of tannic acid you need to act as an antibiotic to help kill the bacteria on your hands and other parts, you want to go 4 or 5. So you want to quadruple or hextuple, pentuple. We'll go pentuple. 4 to 5 times as much tea. Make a really, 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 really concentrated tea. Let it steep for an hour. Get as much tannic acid out there as possible. And then you use that. You dip your rag in there, and away you go. Cleaning, using tannic acid from tea to work as an antibiotic. Okay, another thing, the onion. Now, this one is going to be kind of smelly, but there are strong antibiotics in onions and garlic. But to get that, you have to expose the onion to oxygen. So if you take the onion, cut it, and start using it as an antibiotic, it's not going to be as strong as if you cut it into several slices, slice, and let it sit for at least 15 minutes. Because during that time, it can react with the oxygen and some of the water that's in it and form the actual antibiotic component. So onion or garlic that's been mashed up and exposed to air at least 15 minutes now has strong antibiotic properties. So that you can just rub the onion on your hands. Your hands are going to smell like onions. I recommend not rubbing it around your eyes. Okay. This is like for the hands, a little bit on the naughty bits, the feet and the armpits and things like that. You're going to smell like an onion. You're going to smell like an onion, but it has the antibiotic properties to it. Okay. Some other wild plants. You can look them up on Foraging Texas. And here, I got the whole list here. Will it, let's see. Sometimes YouTube doesn't like me posting a whole bunch of links at once, but we'll try. Yeah. Okay. So it almost worked. But yeah, so I just posted, it shows up better on Facebook than on YouTube. YouTube, I'll go back and fix it. But the different antibiotic herbs and some wild plants, such as goldenrod, the oak galls, and even the bark of oak trees. If nothing else, you make yourself a tea from the bark of an oak tree because that is loaded with tannic acid too. And I am just suddenly cracking up by Kat because she knows I am a sucker for Simpsons references. Okay. Some people, okay, let me just, so yeah, antibiotic plants, things that will help kill the bacteria, because that's the goal. You're trying to kill the bacteria so it can't get into you and cause problems. So the onion, the oregano, or Italian seasoning, if that's all you have, all those sort of things, they have the antibiotic. Making a strong tea from the oak bark, the Italian herbs, the goldenrod that you can then rub on your body, or just rubbing a smashed up onion or garlic on your body. Okay, there's some really good things here. First, Dan, can you drink the peroxide after treating it with aluminum or silver? I still would not, because there's still going to be residual hydrogen peroxide unless you let it sit for overnight, because you'll get rid of most of the hydrogen peroxide, but then the last little bits take a long time. So there's the long tail of the reaction, and so really you would want it to go for 1 or 2 days before you could risk drinking peroxide. And even then, I wouldn't do it. Okay, Dennis, we got a camper here. Yes, so the ashes from a fire will work with the natural fats in your body to create a detergent. So you can rub ashes on your body. The issues with this, if you have limited water, it becomes difficult to rinse them off. So if you have a pond or a stream or lots of water, then yes, ashes from a campfire or from the fireplace actually make a decent cleaning thing. Just remember, you want to get them all off so you don't rub ashes then on everything else. And also because it is a strong soap, if you don't rinse it off, it's a chemical reaction, turns fat into soap. If you don't rinse all the soap off, it's going to become an irritant. So the wood ashes work good if you have a lot of water to rinse off. All right. Okay, yes, acorn tea too. Anything with tannic acid. And then, yucca. Yes, the roots of the yucca have a natural soap, but to do that, for them to be used as a soap, you need soft water. Most of the city water, it's hard water that has calcium and magnesium in it, so you would need rainwater or something like that. The aloe vera plant, not really antibiotic, and it gets sticky, and it's actually somewhat acidic. So as a cleaning solution, aloe vera really isn't a good choice. Okay, so we covered priorities. Like I said, the goal is to keep the bacteria out of the body and the fungus off the feet. We've covered, strange, forgotten ways of finding water and from canned vegetables. We've covered some antibiotic herbs that you can, if nothing else, rub on you. So let's move now on to a few other things. But okay, so let me just answer Jenny. So soapberry, treeberry, yes, if you have them, but again, you need the soft water for them to form a lather. And since they actually do produce a soap, you need enough water to be able to rinse everything off, which is actually a perfect segue into what I want to talk about next. Oh, okay, let's do this here. Do you get any of those antibiotic properties from eating or drinking those things? Yes. In fact, the different herbs we talked about are good for intestinal bacteria too. So I spend a lot of time off-grid camping, things like that. And so something I have, you know what? Okay, as much as I like the green screen, I'm going to turn the green screen off here. So hold on, because we got green things here. How do I turn? Oh, there we go. Okay, this is me in reality here. Okay, so you're just your general garden sprayer. This is what, like a 2.5 or 2 gallons. It actually says here 2-gallon sprayer. You can get these, from anywhere from Amazon and so forth. If it's just one person, a 1-gallon garden sprayer works well enough. What's nice about these is you just fill them with water and then you pump them up. They become pressurized, and then you can, whoops, where is it? You have a sprayer thing here. Now, a lot of people will take the sprayer and replace it with like the sink sprayer, like in your kitchen sink, to get even more. But this, once it's popped up, does a good job of rinsing yourself off, and even a bidet and all that sort of thing. You can do your hair. And a basic rule of thumb, if you want a hot shower or a hot rinse, you fill it halfway. So this is 1 gallon. Fill it halfway with room temperature water, and then halfway with hot water up to boiling water. And you can feel the outside, the temperature that it's at, but that will usually give you approximately the sort of temperature water you would want for a hot shower. So garden sprayer, I will say, if you sign up for the Harbor Freight, I don't get any kickbacks, anything from Harbor Freight, but you sign up with the Harbor Freight newsletter, you get all sorts of really good coupons. And then instead of spending, $26, you get a 50% off, and you can get a garden sprayer like this for like $12. So let me just put the link up here. So for showering and rinsing off, a garden sprayer. Now, let me throw one other thing out here. See it. For showering only. Do not use it for spraying herbicide on your plants and pesticides on your yard and then shower with it. You want a dedicated one. So let me just throw this up here. A bottle of ink. Cork fell out, and So, just a straight garden sprayer, it's like $26 on Amazon. But if you go to this link, people, and you know what? Let me do this. Can I do this? Let me show you this sprayer, because it's actually pretty cool. So companies have caught on to the garden sprayer thing here and have said, hey, let's make one for campers. So share screen. Please bear with me. Okay, so here we go. The Reliance Products Flow Pro Pressurized Portable Shower 2-gallon black. So it has an insulating neoprene sheath on it. It has a big spray nozzle, but it's just a garden sprayer with a wetsuit and a bigger nozzle. But really, this is actually a pretty good deal for that sort of thing. So again, if you're out showering, oh, hey, look, we got a jackass here. All right, I got to nuke the jackass. Hold on a second. I'll nuke the jackass later. All right, because it's pretty obvious that the person is a jackass. So yeah, going back, instead of just a straight garden sprayer, you can actually spend $30 and have yourself a nice emergency shower. Now, some people ask, what about these solar camp showers? And I'm not even going to put camp shower. And this is what I'm talking about here. So these sort of things. These suck. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your money on them. They absolutely suck. Quite frankly, you are better off getting a 1 or a 2 liter soda bottle, wash out really well, poke some holes in the lid, and use that to squeeze it. Being in the house 20 years, we've had our hot water heater blow up twice now and left us without water for several days. And I picked up some of these to use to shower. They sucked. Don't bother with the camp showers. So, but yeah, go with, a garden sprayer type. You get pressure, you can rinse off, you can throw the boiling water in that combined 50-50 mix boiling and non-boiling water. And it just works really, really well as a cleaning solution. Okay. You hooked up one of those solar yucca poles in the desert and it worked. Okay, so yucca for harvesting the yucca. My experience with them, and I should say more importantly, my wife and daughter's experiences with those solar showers with their long hair. Nah. You can get a lot higher pressure from a garden sprayer. You can rinse out long hair with the garden sprayer type thing. So yeah. Other things they have, if you really want to go for it, and let me put this in here for a second. So, and back to sharing. Okay. So if you really want to go high on the hog, there are assorted propane powered hot water heaters. So these work like the continuous water heaters that don't have a water tank. They just have one connection is to your 5-gallon propane tank. And then there's actually another connection to your garden hose. And then the water comes in, gets heated by flame. Keep that in mind. There is a flame in there. Heats it up, and then you have the temperature control. So you can actually, as long as you have running water from your, from a garden hose, basically, you're good to go. So, but if you have running water and you just want something hot, let's say your power is out, you have electric hot water or electric stove, you don't have some sort of camp stove, this actually works really nice. Uncommon Bees, I'm not sure which one you have, Uncommon Bees, out at your off-grid domicile, but they have something similar to this and it works nice. So especially if, day 3 of after a hurricane or something, you have no electricity, you still have propane and running water, a hot shower is nice then. Yeah, Mark, kind of like what they have in an RV sort of thing. These things are real popular in RVs because they really don't take up space. There's no hot water tank. It's an on-demand sort of hot water sort of thing. Okay. So, whoops. Oh, and then the last thing, let me just throw this up here. Let me put the link here in case anyone's interested. So why did that not work? There we go. Okay. The last thing, something to keep in mind, especially if you are showering in an off-grid situation, like in your backyard or something like that, you need some sort of biodegradable soap. If for some reason you are not, if you don't have a sewer, an active, toilet or shower, traditional shower sewer, something happened that the sewers aren't working, you're washing in your backyard, some sort of biodegradable soap. There's all sorts of different ones. This is the one I use because I've been using this one for 40 years, maybe longer. 43 years? Something like that, 43 years. But the Camp Sud stuff, this is, what every Boy Scout from the 70s, 80s, 90s was using. But it's good just to try and protect the environment. The other nice thing about this is really concentrated stuff. So you only need a few drops to do anything. You don't give yourself a big squirt. You give yourself a few little drops and away you go. And then you rinse yourself off with, say, the garden sprayer. So very important, biodegradable soap. Okay. But wait, there's more, because I talked about that's how you keep your body clean. Whoops, what did I do here? Okay. How do you keep your clothes clean? If you don't have power to run your washing machine, let's say it's going week 2, week 3, you've used up all your underwear, you've used up all your socks. What do? Well, you can start scrunging things in your sink, but there's a better way. Okay, so the bucket, it's a 7.5 gallon bucket that I got from our neighborhood pool. You can use a 5 gallon bucket. The trick is you want a tight fitting lid because you need to seal it up. Because what you're going to be doing is you're going to be putting hot water in there. You're going to be putting a few drops of soap. You don't want much soap. You're going to have a plunger. Just, a dollar store plunger. And one thing, you need to put holes in the plunger so that the water, when you're forcing down, can come out through the plunger and recirculate in there. So you fill it, 2/3 of the way up with hot water. You put in, several pairs of underwear and socks, and maybe a shirt. You put in your plunger, you put in the soap, you seal it down, and you start plunging your clothes. This works way better than just squishing with your hands. And you can have different people pound away on it. You do that for 5 minutes or so. And you disassemble, dump out the water, squeeze out as much of the water and soap as you can from the clothes. Put it back in here, put fresh water in here, again, about 2/3 of the way up. Put the plunger and the cap in there and plunge away for a while. And you got to rinse it out like 2 or 3 times. The first time you do it, you're probably going to use too much soap, and it's going to take longer to rinse all the soap out. But you want to go until there's no bubbles, no slipperiness, no feeling of soap, because you don't want soap on your clothing. So your basic off-grid washing machine, made from a 5 gallon, or if you can get it, the 7 gallon. Is Chad Moran here tonight? Chad, you need to make these and sell these on Etsy if you're here. He has a pool service, so he gets lots of these 7 gallon buckets with the screw-on lid. You drill a hole, and like I said, you have your plunger. You have holes in the plunger, so when you're plunging, the water can circulate around, and you are basically mashing your clothes to wash them that way. So if you don't want to do that, if you feel weird plunging your clothes, another thing you can do, if, again, you need a 5 gallon bucket, you need one with a watertight lid. There's a thing called a Gamma Seal, or even on like the Home Depot buckets, they'll have a snap-on lid, but you need one that seals on it really tight, no holes in it. I have the hole for the plunger and then just a little air hole, so it doesn't, you can let some of the air out while you're sealing it up and everything. But you want a tight lid, and then you put like a water bottle, the regular size water bottle in there filled with water, and you roll it back and forth. You like roll it one day, roll it back. The reason for putting a second water bottle in there, the little 750 milliliter drinking, or 500 milliliter, whatever it is again to work as an agitator. Like ideally, you might put 2 of the water bottles in there so they can beat on the clothing, because that beating process is what's going to help break free the dirt from the clothes and the stink and the funk. So again, a 5 gallon or 7.5 gallon bucket with a watertight seal that you can fill, again, like 2/3 with water, put in some underwear, put in some socks, put in a shirt. If you're going to do a pair of jeans, Probably just one set of jeans at a time in something like this, but squish and pound and go at it that way and abuse your clothing. Or you go down to the river and you put a little of the and okay, actually, here's the thing. The biodegradable soap I showed you, it's not supposed to be used directly in a river. No soap is supposed to be used directly in a river or a pond or any sort of wild water, because the soap will screw up the fishes and anything else in the water's ability to, the way their gills work, it screws up the ability to transfer oxygen and carbon dioxide out. So even if you have a biodegradable soap, you want to do it away from a water source. If you're just going to wash your clothes down by the river, that's where you just beat them on a rock and squish and squish and squish and squish. Don't use soap unless we are talking end of the world zombie sort of thing, where even then you probably don't want to poison the fish because you want to eat the fish. So yeah, if you are washing clothes or washing your body in wild water, don't use soap. Just use sand and maybe the wood ashes, because the soap can poison the fish, even the biodegradable soap. It's not designed to be put directly into the water. Okay, so we went a bit fast tonight. So what sort of questions do we have? Okay, if I'm resorting to plunging clothes, I don't think I will care what it looks like. Good point. Yeah. You can do it in the privacy of your own home, I guess. But yeah, the good old chlorine buckets. That's what this is. The chlorine tablets for the pool. Really great thing. And then the chlorine tablets have their own uses. Yep, like making butter. So they actually sell, and since we have Amazon up, let me do this. RV clothes washer. Yeah, so whoops. So they have different things. Like they have this one with a hand crank on it, $60. They have this one with a foot pedal that does the agitation, different things like that. Or you get a $5 bucket and a $2 plunger and throw it up in your attic or in your back somewhere, or even use the bucket for other things. Just keep it in mind that at some point I might be using the bucket to wash clothing. So to me, I have no money. So even spending $60 on, a little compact washing machine, I'm not going to do that. So this one's kind of cool. This one, you plunge up and down in the bucket for only $140. $2 and a 5-gallon bucket, like $4. So there are solutions out there for you. I mean, you can stock up on baby wipes and the rinseless shampoo. Where is the rinseless shampoo? Let's do the rinseless shampoo. So you can have this stuff, and Kat is probably familiar with, like in hospitals is where this was developed for washing people's hair. You just kind of rub it in and then it evaporates away. Yeah, you can store this on hand in case, for the next disaster, or just before a disaster, you can run out and get some maybe. That's not exactly the sort of situation we're talking. We're talking like it's too late to do that. You are in an improvised hygiene situation where you are scrambling. You are looking at, the water from sweet peas as a source of water to clean yourself. So, all right. So to recap, priorities. First thing you want to keep, the goal of the hygiene is to keep the bad bacteria and stuff out of your body and the fungus off your body, because that will lead to other health issues. So priority-wise, hands are the most important thing to keep clean, because your hands are rubbing your eyes, you're eating. If you have, poo germs on your hands and then you eat a sandwich, you're going to take in the poo germs. So cleaning your hands. If you have a cut on your hands, you need, hands are most likely in a grid down situation, the thing to get damaged. So you want to keep the hands clean. After that, the other openings of your body. So the genitals, you want to keep those clean to avoid any sort of kidney or bladder infection. And of course, the butt, to keep the butt clean. You want to keep your feet clean to avoid fungus, especially if you're in a situation where your feet are wet all day long, sealed up in shoes, not able to breathe. That's a breeding ground for fungus. Slightly less the armpits, because at least the armpits you can kind of air out some, whereas most people forget to air out their feet. Your face, again, because you want to wash off the, any bacteria that could get in. And then finally, the hair, back of the neck, things like that. Things you can use as improvised antibacterial. Onions, oregano, or Italian seasoning even, garlic, smashed up garlic. But remember, with the onion and the garlic, you have to cut up the onion or, chop up the garlic and then let it sit for at least 15 minutes so the chemical reaction can occur between the compounds in the onion and the oxygen in the air to actually make the antibiotic materials. So you don't just take an onion and start rubbing it. You got to cut it up, let it sit 15 minutes, and then start rubbing it on you. And hopefully your people with you don't mind you all smelling like onions. As far as rinsing off, the good old shower sprayer, these, the overlander and off-roaders and surfers and all these people who need to rinse off in wild places, the garden sprayers are a very common way of doing it because you can pressurize it up. You can get a lot of pressure from a garden sprayer to really help rinse you off. And if you want a hot shower, fill it half full with like cold room temperature water and then half filled with boiling water. And then you can feel the outside and let it, but that's usually a good ratio to have hot water at a temperature you would have it on your body. And then finally, for cleaning clothes, a 5-gallon bucket with a lid, a plunger with holes in it to squishy, and, get your Amish butter churning on there. Okay, wow. At this point, let me do another shout out because I still got a few sponsors I need to shout out to. Then I'll look at any last minute questions and so forth. So Campcraft Outdoors, let me bring them up here. Pretty much my favorite source, and I put it up there, of outdoor gear because I like going off trail. Their stuff is made out of heavy duty canvas and leather and wool. It's not this wussy type plastic stuff. So good stuff for there. Ooh, they got some new knives. Nice. So there's them. And then, of course, for herbs, got to do a shout out to tribe member Ricardo Shilly Shally and herbs. So as much as there is Medicine Man, yep, there we go. So Medicine Man, I have some very specific ready-made type stuff. If you have an issue, you can talk to Ricardo. Did it go up? Okay, yeah, it did. And he will do a Zoom call with you and do an in-depth discussion of what's going on with your health and come up with a specialized concoction just for you. So check him out. Use the coupon there, the Forking Weeds, to get 15% off any order. And he has a bunch of stuff here. If you're just looking for specific herbs, he already has a whole bunch of stuff. And you can get, 15% off. So that's cool. Okay, and Fear and Dread over in Vidor. So emergency survival stuff. Put them up there. And if you use the coupon code TRIBE, because they are a member of the tribe, you get 7% off of the order. Right now, small businesses are struggling, but I will say his prices are as good as anything on Amazon. And so saving 7%, you're not giving Amazon any money. You're helping him and you are saving yourself money. So, yeah. All right. So looking through, Oh, cool. So Cleo, I got one of the butane cook stoves you showed us. And that was over in the emergency one. I don't want to put this up here. Open. So it's a little camp stove. It uses these butane canisters that you can get at Walmart, you can get at Academy, you can get at Asian markets. Like I said, I have a whole, let me throw this up here one more last time. So if you like tonight's video, you can see more like it over, come on, over on my YouTube channel, and all sorts of stuff, water and food and first aid, communications, everything like that. Okay, so it is 9 o'clock. Episode 99 is in the books. The episode 100 is next week. And then that will be the last episode of Merriwether's World. That will be the finale. Weird. Trying to think about that. So I just wanted to throw, one other thing in here about tonight and why I picked tonight. Okay, I didn't quite pick it, but it occurred to me tonight, and so this is what I'm going to throw my Catholicism. And tonight is the night of the Last Supper, the washing of the feet seemed to fit for tonight's show. So hygiene, getting ready for Easter here, so something to think about. Not just wash yourself, but help others stay clean too. That's tonight's words of wisdom. Help others stay clean too. Okay, so quick looking. There weren't a lot of questions here. Not seeing anything, but if there are questions here, I will go back through and go through the comments and answer them there. But otherwise, we're done for this evening. Now you know how to keep clean in the apocalypse. And so I'll see a lot of you tomorrow at the donut shop at the beginning of the world. Same place here on the Foraging Texas Facebook page and on the Dr. Merriwether YouTube page. Who knows what random conversations we'll have tomorrow at the donut shop, but whatever. Okay. Love to you all. Thank you for hanging out with me for an hour. Hope you got some useful information here. Help you think outside the box as far as hygiene is concerned. So I will end the broadcast now. Good night, everyone.